students amaze me at what they can accomplish and how well they can do. And that's what it's all about. That's why you serve on the Board of Education. I'm really pleased that our board always keeps student achievement and service to the community first and foremost on our list of topics and agendas. And we try to make every decision that we do relate in some way to higher student achievement. I am in education myself. I'm a medical school faculty member. So I have a perspective that's sort of at the far end of the educational process, and I think that gives me a perspective that can be particularly helpful trying to help young people get a good foundation in K through 12 system that will serve them well later in life. I became a board member because I got real active in my kids' school when they were much, much younger. I have 3 children. One of them is in college. 2 are high school students in St. Paul schools. They've been in St. Paul schools for their entire educational experience, and it's been a wonderful time. They've had great educations. My wife works in the city. All of our family likes sports, so we do a lot of athletic sort of stuff together. We all cross-country ski. We do some bicycle riding. We like to go to the Boundary Waters in the summertime. All great activities that you can do in Minnesota, and it makes it really nice to live here, and it's a nice opportunity for the family to be together and do things together. We moved to St. Paul because of the school system, actually. We have a wonderful group of kids and families that use our schools that represent a broad variety of people from all over the country and all over the world. And I think the opportunity to get to know such a diverse group of people and work with them and really enjoy learning with them and playing with them is one of the great, outstanding advantages of being in St. Paul schools. I think it's a fantastic place to get an education, and boy, my kids have gotten a fantastic education. My son at the University of Wisconsin tells me, "Dad, I'm better prepared than most of the kids here." And the other thing that I've really enjoyed seeing is that he has not been intimidated by that very large public university. Being in a large public school system sometimes means that you got to work through the bureaucracy. Not everything always goes your way, and you've got to sometimes deal with the system. And although we aim to make the system as user-friendly as it possibly can be, you can't always do that. So I think one of the things that kids in our school system learns and parents learn is resourcefulness. And you need that later in life. You need that to be successful later in life. And our personal experience has been that you learn that. If I could wave a magic wand, I'd like for every child to come from a supportive family with committed adults in their lives who really work hard to meet their needs. And I know that that's not going to be possible in all circumstances. But one of the things that really is encouraging that I've learned is that if we work hard at our job, kids can survive despite not having those advantages. And that's one of the really gratifying things of being in this business. Because you see a lot of kids who you wouldn't expect to be really high achievers achieve at a very high level.
When you get out to a school, it really brings back your perspective of why you're here, and you can see what are the products and the people that we're serving and the kids. And you forget about the ivory tower, you forget about the political battles, because when you're in a building, you feel good about what you're doing. At Groveland Elementary, I lived 3 blocks from there, where I started in 1966. The marble floors are still there, the wooden doors with the round portholes, except there's computers in there now. This was where I started school, and it was a great memory and experience for me, and today it's carrying on that tradition. Highland High School, where I graduated too, is doing some good things now with its new program. St. Paul's my native home. I was born and raised here up through 3rd grade. Went to Groveland Elementary School, and still live in the Mac Groveland area. Though my parents worked overseas from my 4th through 10th grade years, so we were gone at that time. Between moves, we stayed with relatives on the east side, so it was half a year at Sheridan and a year at Harding, junior year when we came back. We moved back into our family home then in the Mac-Rolvin area, and I graduated from Highland in '78. But I considered home and always end up back here. I lived in Frankfurt as a child, 7 years, and I go back each summer, mostly for my hobby, which is German railroads and trains, and a lot of friends that I stay in touch with there. But I also did a few research projects for some people here, for a training and development company there, and I think that contact really kind of sparked my interest. When I lived there, I rode the streetcar systems of Frankfurt, learned my way around the city, and later moved on with trains, riding the locomotives where I could, photographing them, collecting railroad memorabilia. And Germany is where there's far more trains than there are here in the U.S. today, passenger trains.
So what's the best thing about being a board member?
I think being able to help people when there's a concern or a problem and they call or ask, what can we do, and being able to direct them somewhere or solve a problem for them, or just being able to listen when there's a concern. And I think that's the biggest reward you can get, and when you can do something that helps kids. And I think our success stories oftentimes are overlooked. We have IB programs, we've got many different academic opportunities for kids. We've got schools that can offer school uniforms, ROTC, many things that private schools or other schools may not offer, or do offer but don't do as good a job as we do. And I think we need to somehow get that out somehow. I'd like to see what can we do to strengthen families, keep families together, improve parental involvement, have parents, teachers, and students all take ownership in the learning process. And I think if we have that partnership and we can address some of the issues of poverty and broken families, I think that will help our education improve. And I'm not sure I have the answer how to do that, but that would be my dream, because I think we'd all win.
I want to win. I need to come here to know the book that's not going to win.
Okay.
Pretty much I designed the book, so I think it's real cool to see it out in the wild.
Well, in my definition, the American dream is when someone who are very motivated, who work hard, who have the energy, and there's a system to help them to achieve what they really want. That's what I call the American dream. It really varies from degree, scope of the American dream. And in this country, I still find the American dream. In my case, I was elected to school board. I really want to be a school board member. And this resident St. Paul helped me to give that tool to become school board. Whereas in Southeast Asia, I may never have that opportunity because we didn't have that American dream. So that's what I call a system available to help those who really work hard, who want to become successful in whatever degree they are dreaming for. St. Paul is the second largest urban Hmong American population in the United States. I really like the public education system in St. Paul, that where managed school, neighborhood school, or where gifted talented program, very diverse and very many programs, many choice for parents to choose. And it's a livable city. I have 3 sons, and one of the things I have to juggle is I have to make sure that I have enough time for my children, especially my 2 younger, because they really need me. Tonight, after this event, I have to take them to karate class. So my schedule is pretty full. I see that the children, they need to be trained, to be ready for tomorrow's job. And I see our staff working hard to make sure that they fulfill the expectation. I see hope, I see opportunity. I feel good because I came from a country where opportunity didn't exist, especially if you're people who are born in a disadvantaged environment. So to sit on the school board really broadened my perspective, to be optimistic, work hard, good communication, maximize our potential, and invest our future. I mean our children, they are our future, they're important. And America continues to be the land of opportunity. But if you look at 1993, 4 out of 6 high school valedictorians belong to the Hmong community. Given the background, the Hmong parents didn't go to school at all in Southeast Asia. These are excellent results that St. Paul have produced. So we should never forget the good thing that we have made in St. Paul. And we should attempt to replicate those success. And that's what I want to bring back to the community, to remind the long journey that we have achieved. Keep doing.
Well, I just love the history in St. Paul. I'm a part of a law firm that has been in this community for 138 years. That's tradition. I love the architecture. We have an older home, and it's our pride and joy, and we spend money fixing it up. We like being able to walk to the stores, to walk around the neighborhoods. I like the short commute. I like the festivals, the activities in the community. It seems so vibrant, but yet in sort of a quiet Midwestern sort of way. I grew up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and moved to St. Paul after college. Well, I'm married. I have 2 children. My children are 8 and 11, and they both attend St. Paul Public Schools. Well, my daughter has attended since kindergarten. My son has attended since he was 3. On weekends, I like to spend as much of the time as possible at home, spend the time with my kids. I coach soccer. I'm an avid fan when they're participating. Otherwise, I like to spend a little time around the house, and reading the Sunday paper is a real treat. I'm a pretty conservative person in some of my personal views, and my children, they work hard, they do their chores, and then we go out and we have fun. Well, we're really committed to St. Paul, and we have found in our experience that the staff in the schools here is just wonderful. They have worked hard, they have kept us informed, our children really like school, and so we're getting everything we could want from the St. Paul Public Schools. I have a son who is a special education student who has some special needs, and so in order to meet his needs, our staff has had to go the extra mile, and they've done that. And they've done it repeatedly, and they continue to work just wonderfully with him. I find there's a tremendous amount of misinformation out in the community. And it's been my sense that when an individual has the time to understand the problem, understand the competing policy considerations, that they are then much more understanding of the issues with the school, and they understand how in St. Paul we're trying to meet the needs of the entire community. I really think that the public schools play an important part in educating all of the children in the community. It's so important that our children be prepared for the next century. And today, the St. Paul public schools look much like this country is going to look like in the next century. So we're preparing the future leaders today in the St. Paul public schools. The ability to get along with individuals from all different sorts of backgrounds is a tremendous opportunity that we provide children, and we do so in a setting with strong academics and a great understanding of how we all work together. My daughter, when she was a fourth grader, was doing a research project with footnotes. I know that when I went to school, and I thought I went to a real good school, that I didn't do anything like that until 9th grade. I speak with so many parents who have their children in the St. Paul public schools, and they're ecstatic about the education, the opportunities that their children receive.
Don't miss the 1998 Parent Information Fair at the newly developed River Center. Whether you're looking for a citywide specialty school, middle school, high school, or even a neighborhood school, you'll find them all at the Information Fair. The fair provides exciting opportunities to discover what the St. Paul Public Schools has to offer. Meet St. Paul's K-12 educational experts at over 100 booths representing public, private, parochial, and charter schools to learn about the many educational opportunities available for your kids. Participate in child-family activities sponsored by early childhood experts. Attend seminars on school choice and preparing your kids for college. Enjoy musical, storytelling, and theatrical performances by students of all ages. The fair and all exhibits are free and open to the public. Come find the school of choice for your elementary, junior high, or senior high school student. Discover your school choices, January 24th, 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the St. Paul River Center.
I grew up in Wisconsin, and after college I came, over 30 years ago now, to St. Paul to go to the seminary. And most people in St. Paul don't realize that I came here to go to the seminary, which is something that people would not expect. But I came here to go to the seminary, and I was a youth director while I did that in a local church. But I think my biggest passion out of all of that was the social justice issue. And that's why I was in the seminary, to see that the social gospel, the gospel of love, was being carried out in everyday life. I was very concerned about the future of our city, particularly because we're spending less on school programs than we are on other services. And in comparison to our suburban neighbors, we're spending less on schools than the suburban school systems are spending. And I was very concerned about that because we have such a needy population. And it's so important that children in this city have a good start for their future. I'm now the only board member who served during the 80s. I'm the only board member who has selected 2 superintendents. So I have some of that history that's there. I guess I kind of got involved in school issues as a result of having young children that were about ready to enter school. I had been a community activist. I was involved in community council issues, city issues, county issues, and when my children were about ready to enter school was when I got involved in school issues. I think that we have many more choices than any of our suburban neighbors. We've had to develop that choice because of the demand for desegregation. And then we gave parents options as to where they wanted to go. And I think that if you have a gifted child, there's a program for that. If you have a child who's into the arts, there's a program for that. If you have a child who's involved in math science, we have specialized programs in those areas. Of course, students learn the full array of materials, but their focus can be in a specific area, which isn't an option in other school systems. I think that our system also provides the best opportunity for children to be prepared for the future in terms of being exposed to the variety of people that exist in the world. If you go to a suburban school, it may be very comfortable, very homogeneous, but that's not the future of our world. We're going to be facing a vast variety of different people as we go through life. And St. Paul best will prepare your child for that future.
He's very supportive. He's not a micromanager. He doesn't have to be in on every decision. He's not a cumbersome type, bogged down, I need to know everything that's going on. He really allows us as staff to use our creativity.
There's probably been about 5 or 6 individuals who have helped me out or I've used as a role model, and certainly Dr. Stafford has been one.
One individual worthy of such praise is Dr. Julian Stafford. Recently honored as the Minnesota Secondary Principal of the Year, Dr. Stafford brings national recognition to our district. A University of Minnesota and Harvard graduate, Dr. Stafford has been employed with the district for nearly 30 years. Nominated by his peers, Dr. Stafford believes it's his ability to work with staff and students that makes him stand out.
I empower them. I work with, I shape the work environment. I demonstrate a sense of fairness. I'm out there with students. I'm out there in the classroom. I promote a parent involvement. I create staff development activities for them so they can become better teachers and so forth. So I'm out there.
He served as principal of Battle Creek Middle School for 4 years. There, his leadership skills and personal involvement shaped both teacher and student.
My impressions of Dr. Stafford were very positive from the time that he interviewed me for this position. When I recognized that he was looking for somebody with qualifications other than just teaching computer. He was really interested in his staff being student-oriented.
I don't do anything that's uniquely different, other than the fact that although I don't know, I work very hard. I'm out there. I have a hand-on type of approach. I'm involved with students. I'm involved with faculty. I'm involved with the community and so forth. Other principals are doing the same thing. So in a sense, I'm not different, but I just have a high intensity in what I do in those various categories, working with people and so on.
The key to Dr. Stafford's success with students is making himself available to them.
He's always there at athletic games and stuff. You always would see him there cheering teams on, and he'd like help. He'd be in the hall a lot, and he'd be talking to students quite a bit, and he'd like to have a good time with them. He wouldn't want to be real rough on them and try to send them to jail if they're going anywhere or they do something bad.
And then working with students, the one thing that they know I care for them. They know I respect who they are. They know I trust them. They know I do everything I can to support their learning and comfort in the school building.
Now as principal of the Area Learning Center, an alternative way for young adults to receive their diplomas, Dr. Stafford is conquering new challenges and once again impressing his peers.
He's well organized. He has an open door policy which enables both staff and students to go in and meet with him and discuss various issues, which will also help to impact the learning of the students here at the ALC.
He takes it very seriously. He takes our students very seriously. He takes into consideration their lives, their backgrounds, the academic experiences that they've had, and he supports everything that they do.
We have students coming here for various reasons that they can't function in a traditional high school, and they come here, they blossom. They blossom because the way we design our instruction puts the onus on students for learning, and our responsibility here to create an atmosphere for that to happen.
Dr. Stafford's award is a great personal achievement, but it also recognizes the success of the entire St. Paul School District.
It acknowledged the positive things that happen in St. Paul, that students are learning. Teachers are collaborating with the principal working with the community, the principal working on curriculum, the principal working with students, the principal's out there. I recognize the fact that as a result of what the principal does, it impacts learning.
Our schools are some of the best schools in the country, and to be recognized at this level draws attention to us. I'm not originally from Minnesota, I'm from Indiana, and even when I went to college in Indiana, I knew that the schools in Minnesota were doing things better than a lot of schools in different parts of the country. And just by having this award, that sends a message to the rest of the country and to the nation and to the state, you know, that we are doing great things in St. Paul.
Choosing a child's first or next school is no longer what it used to be. Today, selecting a school that best fits a child's educational needs is similar to choosing the right college or university for a high school senior. Parents need to do their homework and explore all the educational options available for their children.
First of all, you need to know that there are many, many options, and you need to get as much information as you can about all of those options.
In St. Paul, those options include elementary neighborhood schools, elementary magnet schools, which draw students from across the city, and a variety of secondary schools covering grades 7 through 12. St. Paul Public Schools' Choices and Service Catalog includes descriptions of every school and an application for magnet and secondary schools.
The most important thing that parents ask about is, does the school offer curriculum programs that meet the needs of their own children? They want to know, for instance, if their child is interested in the arts or in dance, do we have that program? Do we have all levels of curriculum offerings? If a student wants to be exceptionally challenged in a class, do we offer that? If they're not so good in one area, you know, do we offer classes that will meet those needs? They just want to know all there is that's available and try to match it with what their kids need.
If parents are uncertain where to start their search, the best place to go or call is the St. Paul Public Schools Student Placement Center. The friendly staff there can answer all of your questions at every level.
The Student Placement Center is comprised basically of 4 areas. We have secondary, elementary, TESOL, and health services. And what we do in two things. We intake new people into the district, new students. We assess their educational background and make appropriate recommendations for school choice. Parents can choose any school available, but we make some recommendations in most cases.
Those recommendations might include services to help improve students' English language skills, such as the Teaching English to the Speaker of Other Languages program, TESOL, or the English as a Second Language program.
When a family comes into St. Paul, they call the student placement office and they're asked a series of questions. And one of the questions is a language other than English spoken at home? If the answer is yes, they're transferred to our office and we set up an appointment for them. In my opinion, St. Paul has the best ESL service in the state, and we have a lot of other districts calling us about our ESL program and what we do here at the student placement office. And I just want families to know that please call us and that they're very welcome here, and that no question that they should be embarrassed about asking any question. We're just here to help.
Regardless of the types of schools you're looking at, don't forget that for secondary schools and elementary magnet schools, time is of the essence. Applications must be received on time in order to be considered for selected schools.
The process in St. Paul is an early one so that parents know before the end of this school year where their children will be attending next year. And because we have a lot of students, a lot of parents who take advantage of these choices, it's important that the process is a fair one. Everybody gets an opportunity to designate their choice. And the most important thing is you get that information back early in the year so that you can prepare your child for where they're going to be.
School selection time in St. Paul generally begins in January with the Parent Information Fair. Between the fair and the school's application deadlines in late February and March, parents should visit potential schools either by making appointments during the school day or by attending conveniently scheduled open houses listed in the School Choices and Services catalog. Parents will also benefit by talking to other parents and by including their child in the school selection process.
One of the things I'd say is take a look at the catalog. The catalog is a really good overview of what's out there. A lot of times parents will attend the parent fair. That's a really big thing for parents to do because it's a one-stop kind of a shopping place. You can pick up information, talk to schools. We're really good at hand-holding because it is complicated. Sometimes it's just an understanding of the process. It feels really overwhelming when you look at a catalog.